Good evening and welcome to the January 24th meeting of the Board of Trustees for Fort Wayne Community Schools. This meeting will be open to the public during Indiana's ongoing public health emergency as declared by Governor Holcomb. Masks must be worn at all times on Fort Wayne Community School grounds. Social distancing will be practiced at the meeting. Therefore, some members of the public who wish to attend may be excluded. If you plan to attend, media, please email Public Information Officer Krista Stockman. All others email Interim Acting Clerk of the Board Andy Rosen, and the public is encouraged to view the meeting at Comcast Cable 54 and Frontier 24, the live stream on our Facebook page, or LTV 2454 FWCS YouTube channel. Priority for attendance in person will be given to the members of the media. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll do our Pledge of Allegiance first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and now roll call of members.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2. Maria Norman, Member at Large.
Riley Booker, District 4.
Noah Smith, District 3.
And to my left is Dr. Daniel, our superintendent, and Andy Rosine filling in for Angela Filler, the clerk of the board. And on the listening remotely is Steve Corona, 5th District. Hi, Steve.
Greetings. I'm here and listening.
All right, maybe I'll move my mic over to you, your side. And I'm Ann Duff, member at large. Okay, we have some awards and recognitions this evening. Jen, would you like to do the first one?
Okay, hold on. Can somebody else take that?
Page 5.
Got it. Okay. Sorry. It is recommended that the board recognize R. Nelson Snyder High School for their achievements during the fall season esports. Esports is an athletic program at Snyder High School with approximately 100 students. We have 17 rosters across 15 different games and compete in state and national competitions. We have students being scouted and recruited by college programs for scholarships, as well as teams gaining national recognition for their accomplishment. Will you please come forward when your name is called so that we can congratulate you? The Varsity Rocket League team, Tyrese Ellis, Nazir Schul, Dalen Banks, Austin Tuttle, and each of these have won the HSEL National Semifinalist, the IHSEN State, 3rd place in state, CENC Midwest Invitational, 1st place. And if I butcher your name, please just let me know. I apologize. The Varsity Overwatch team, Jacob Hine, Jacoby Kidd, Carter Ehrman, Aiden McLaughlin, Christian Burlinson, Seth Geiselman, Lauren Jarvis. HSEL National, undefeated regular season of 8-0. The state, for the state, they are the state champions. And for the Midwest Invitational, they are 1st place. Next, we have the Hearthstone, Chris Deers, National, 8th seed in playoffs. And next we have chess, Tommy Song. The state, he is the individual state champion. And last we have Fortnite, Ian Rottinger. And for the state, he is the individual state champion. Also here with us this evening is Joseph Wilhelm, John Tudor, Adam Warricks, Andrew Newman, Ian Tyler, who are our coaches, and the principal is Chad Hissong. Let's congratulate these.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
There he has a mask of a smile. Thanks.
In our information, it said that some of you had been recruiting for college programs and for scholarships and things like that. Is that involve any of you? You could talk about that a little bit? You can step up.
There's a microphone right behind you.
Here, we can play it.
I was personally recruited by a coach at a college called Siena Heights University in Adrian, Michigan. And I don't remember the exact amount, but I was given a scholarship that I will sign with soon.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
So we'll have full athletic signings like you would with the normal football or basketball program when our seniors sign with colleges and universities. So
Very nice.
be looking for those on the news soon.
We certainly will. Well, congratulations.
And Tommy and Ian were best in the state in Chesterport Knights.
Correct, yes.
State
And
champion.
Overwatch team was a state champion as well.
So did Overwatch beat Rocket League?
No, they're different games. They completely separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have 100 kids down?
We have just about 100 students in our program.
How many did you
Yeah.
have last year?
That's amazing.
Last year was about 90 or so. This year I think it'll be even bigger. Our first year we started at about 60 or 70.
And this is what, the third year of the program?
Second full season, the first full year. Yep.
Congratulations and great work.
Yeah, so our Rocket League team is competing in the national championships in Texas in May, which is a really big, exciting opportunity.
Wow.
So they'll be competing in a professional esports stadium in front of about 5,000 people, coaches, professional players, and then we broadcast nationally as well. So we're looking at the logistics of how to get these 5 young gentlemen to Texas in May.
All right.
So,
Well, that'd be nice.
Are these some of the same kids that were involved last year that made it to
Yes.
second in
Yes.
nationals?
Mhm. So yeah, if there would have been in-person events previously, we would have gone to those as well. But in-person events are just kind of starting back up now at this point in the pandemic.
So who's your big competition in Indiana?
Carmel High School,
Okay.
who has about 3 times as many students as we do.
Right,
So,
right.
But we compete with them pretty equally in most games, and we took
Exactly.
3 championships from them this year. So
All right.
Way to go.
Congratulations.
yeah, we were the only school in our division other than Carmel to win a state championship.
And how many students do you think that Carmel has in their esports program?
Their program's definitely bigger than ours. I mean, I would argue about 150 or so at least, but I mean, their school is 6,000,
Right.
so the pool that they draw from is about 3 times the size that we do.
Absolutely.
And can any of you kids speak up? What do you like about esports and what's it done for you?
Christian, what
Anybody
about?
want to step up?
I'm Christian. I was a part of the varsity Overwatch team that just beat Carmel before break, I believe. And the cool thing about esports is, well, first of all, we get recognized for things like this. I think that's very unique, right? I mean, I never would have thought that I'd be playing video games for my high school, right? So yeah, it's just an extremely cool opportunity. I grew up with a lot of the guys I'm on the team with, and they're all cool. Sadly, they couldn't make it today, but yeah, I have a lot of fun with it, and it's great. The kids there may, give off a certain aroma. They're not the best smelling. They don't have the best hygiene either, but yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'm the most presentable. That's why I represent the Overwatch, right? So yeah, it's been a really cool experience, and I'm glad we got great coaches as well. And so yeah, it's a fun experience.
I'm curious, Coach Tudor, because you and I coached against each other in a more traditional sport. So I'm just curious, what's this like from your perspective of coaching
You wouldn't believe
esports?
it unless you were there in person. Anytime you guys want to come out and see what we built, please come out because the room is spectacular. It's the best high school arena in the state that we've designed and built. But it's just like any other sport.
Yeah.
Like these guys, they'll get in a circle and they do a big cheer. They get it. I mean, they're all hands in. They're getting all pumped up for the game. And between each game, is they got to get water and they got to clear their mind if they won or lost. It's just like
Right.
basketball
Sure.
or softball.
Absolutely.
It's the exact same thing, except they're sitting in a chair and they still sweat. Their sweat pouring off their face. Their hands are shaking, and sometimes they don't breathe right. But it's just like any other sport.
So have you done any physical training?
No, not yet. But we
Okay.
do have. Well, eventually, we probably have to have physicals on file and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
right, right.
Yeah, one of the questions that we answer a lot is, well, why are you just letting kids play video games in school? Right? We're trying to get kids away from video games. But really what we're doing is we're motivating students to exceed and excel in school.
Yep.
And a lot of times they're the students who aren't involved in other activities. They're not being motivated another way.
Right.
So an anecdote for you. At the end of tryouts for our fall season, we had 33 students who were failing at least one class, which makes them ineligible for competition. But we put them on academic probation. We work with them through tutoring sessions and after-school programs. And by the end of the second week of competition, we had 0 students who were failing any classes. So, I mean, that's really the reason
Yep.
we're doing it. We're being inclusive. We're including students who wouldn't otherwise get to participate. And we're motivating those students who aren't really motivated for school and being able to reach students who we couldn't reach before.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So are either of you coaches, are you any good at Fortnite?
I don't play video games. I'm just the coach. They're all right.
Okay, I was just wondering.
But some of our other coaches who aren't here have specialties in specific games as well.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't
there-
know
there
if
are
it
5
had
of
taken
us
over your
involved.
life or, you know.
I usually tell them 10 years back, let's go with Carmel. We talk about where Carmel's at, how many students they got, and
Yeah,
try to make it a rival.
nice.
Great.
Well, good job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats.
You want to talk?
Hey, and Noah, the next award?
Sure, it's recognized, or some of these kids might be coming back, looks like, but recommended that the board recognize Snyder for placing second overall in the Northeast Indiana Tech Fest. 48 Snyder High School students completed in the 9th annual Northern Indiana Tech Fest sponsored by Northeast Indiana Tech Coalition and the city of Fort Wayne. Tech Fest is a community event for high school students sponsored in cooperative effort by the Northeast Indiana Technology Coalition and local industry partners. The goal of Tech Fest is to promote science, technology, engineering, and mathematics curriculum, STEM, as it's also known as, to demonstrate their place in local organizations in their respective fields. As I call your name, please come forward so we may congratulate you. The third place Snyder Cyber Hunt team was Jacoby Kidd, Tristan Linebarger, and Ken Lay. The second place, the Snyder Thinker Sync team was Iris Yang, Violet Park, Grace Buchanan, and Peyton Kimpton.
Yay, ladies.
The first place Snyder Science team was Elizabeth Valdez and Leah Oswald. The first place Snyder Programming team was Eric Van Zant, Tommy Song, and Tim Schwans. And then, over and above all that, there were 3 Snyder students that were awarded $1,000 scholarships based on their performance. They are Eric Van Zant, Sean Lautzenheiser, and Elaine Ulsh. Also here, again, supporting them is teachers Joe Wilhelm and John Tudor, and Principal Chad Hisson. Congratulations, guys.
Go ahead and scoot toward the middle and we'll
Hey, Tommy.
scoot in, we'll get a
Tommy
picture.
Song.
He's our parent, Tommy.
Tell your dad to come close and get a picture.
We don't, no, I just need you to stay for the official. So I'm curious, is there anywhere where you can buy that team shirt?
We're opening up a shop soon.
Okay, okay, very good. You know, I'm curious, and I ask this because our Director of Technology is here with us today, Jack Bird. So I'm interested in how many of the students here are interested in going into, you know, IT or technology or something as a career. Anyone?
A couple of hands over there.
Because Mr. Bird may get your names.
3 of our programming students that won the Tech Fest Championship. Tommy Song is going to Purdue, West Lafayette. Eric's going to Purdue, West Lafayette to major computer science. Tim's only a junior. He's going to go the same career path, I'm pretty sure.
Awesome.
We stacked the deck for that competition, and they blew everybody out in the
Wow.
programming competition. It wasn't even, it was not a contest.
Really?
What kind
That's
of
so
things do
cool.
you program?
Go ahead, tell them. Tell them what the programs was, Eric. Talk to them.
Oh, sure.
What was the question? What kind of stuff do we program in the contest?
So the program was relatively simple. We were given 20 sets of problems that can be solved basically only through a program, because they give you just a whole bunch of inputs, which you have to do the same thing to each one. So we took the problems and we just gave them the inputs, and generally like less than 100 lines of code for each one. So pretty simple.
Very simple.
What's the programming language these days?
Well, we use Python, but we could have used any programming language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was optional. You could use whatever language you wanted.
Yeah.
Huh.
Any questions? Anybody else?
What about the Cyber Hunt or Think or Sync team? What do they, we'll talk about Cyber Hunt?
We got one come up here. A lot of people. Tell them what team you're on.
I'm Tristan Leiberger from the Cyber Hunt team, and essentially what we did for Cyber Hunt was they sat us on a computer website, a virtual machine, and they gave us a bunch of problems and told us to solve them. Some were difficult, some were easy to find, and the resources they gave us to find these answers were just Google and find it somehow. Use basic knowledge, use Google, whatever you want.
So are you judged on how well you found those things, or is there a time?
Each
Is there a
question,
certain time limit? Does that count into winning?
each question had its own point goal. So if you solved a question, it would give you that amount of points.
Okay.
Yeah. No real time other than the event.
So how long does one of those events take?
An hour,
Okay.
Is there a time limit?
just the actual event time.
Okay.
No real limit to questions or anything.
So Tech Fest as a whole is a whole day event, and we took 48 students with us. Each student competed on one team, but there were other events as well. So there was a college and career fair where they got to network. A few of our students got, soft job offers based on their performance
Nice.
in the competitions. But it was more than just a competition event. It was a full day college career STEM fair as well.
Nice.
So have you figured out a way to promote this within your own school for the incoming freshmen or any other kids that you run into? How can you, expand your program over there by you being an influence? Anyone?
We got a picture on the wall from last year. We were champions last year. Last year we won Tech Fest. Actually, it was 2 years ago we won Tech Fest, and then we had the pandemic. And this past year we were runner-up. Angola, we overlooked them. They beat us, Angola High School. But hopefully we're just announcing their names on the announcements that they won $1,000 scholarships, and we've talked to every single kid. We've had meetings, they have practices leading up to Tech Fest. So that's one of the things we'll have at our career fair in the spring when we recruit students from Black Hawk and Lane, our feeder schools. That's something that we mentioned is we have Tech Fest, we have esports, we have hopefully robotics in the future, and we're pushing forward with all the tech stuff, STEM stuff.
So do you see yourself, John, like John, you used to go over to the middle schools and promote your program, your athletic program. Do you see this group of kids going into our feeder schools and kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, I see it with esports for sure. We're talking about having an esports camp this summer for our feeder schools and our elementary schools, and having esports camps, and Snyder High School sells itself.
Yeah.
Great.
So when is the next Indiana Tech Fest?
It's a yearly event in the fall,
In
so
the
it'll
fall,
probably be
okay.
November of 2020.
And is that something that would be open to the public? Like, we could come in and watch what's going on?
Yep.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, there's a website that we can make sure is forwarded to the
Well,
board.
if you think about it, we wouldn't mind getting an invite, because I think it'd be fun to stop in and
Most
check it out.
of the major businesses on Fort Wayne are there, Aptera,
Rural Sourcing was this year's
Rural
key
Source.
sponsor.
Everybody big is there, and they run the different competitions, each major
Uh-huh.
corporation. So a different corporation ran cybersecurity, a different one ran programming, and it was great. They have a keynote speaker that came, I believe, from Florida this year.
Nice.
Northside, Anthus, and New Tech also fielded teams from FWCS, and there's a dozen to 20 or so schools.
Great.
I also have to say, just as a comment, just looking at the students that were here tonight, it's just wonderful to see all the diversity. Love it. Broad part of the student body.
Yep.
So did I understand, real quickly, did I understand you had a fall team and you have a spring team? Or-
Spring esports as well. We actually just had, he's the head coach, we're still in the process of trying out. The learning day this week messes up a little bit. We have tryouts, we have to have our rosters in. So they have a spring session and a fall session. We'll be competing in the fall session for state championships again, and then the same thing for the nationals. We only have a couple teams competing nationally on the national scene, all our top teams, because it's that difficult, it's that tough, and there's that many high schools in the United States playing on the games we play. So we'll field at least three teams. We'll have Overwatch, Rocket League, and our individual in Hearthstone. We'll compete nationally and in the state level as well.
Tutor, put your mask up. Put your mask up.
Nice.
We had a lot of questions, but it's very interesting just because it's all new to us. So
It is.
I thank you for taking your time to come and, first of all, for us to congratulate you, and secondly, for explaining it to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda with the approval of the minutes, the vouchers for the period ending January 24th, and payroll for period ending December 21, our personnel report, and the transfer appropriations. Is there a motion on?
Move we approve.
Second. Thank you. Dr. Daniels, did you have anything you wanted to mention on the personnel report?
I do, and on your report this evening, you've, well, maybe I'll wait until you have to approve it, or maybe. Do I wait until after he's official?
Probably a good idea.
Yeah,
All
why don't I
right.
do that? Once you approve, I'll have a
All right,
comment, if I
let's do
may,
that.
please.
Sure, let's do that.
We're going to need to do a roll call vote, so Julie?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria? Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
Aye from me. All right.
Thank you. So, appreciate that. We've been working hard to find a quality candidate in regards to our curriculum instruction and assessment, and specifically leading those departments. And I believe we have found that individual. His name is Dr. Joe Brown. He is currently superintendent at Elwood Community School Corporation. Been in education since 2005, being elementary, but also middle school. He's been a principal at Delphi. He's also been in Noblesville, as well as Franklin Township. He currently also serves as an adjunct professor at Marion University. He does have his PhD from Indiana State University. His master's is from Purdue University at West Lafayette, and then his Bachelor of Science from IUPUI. So he will be our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment, and he will oversee all aspects of curriculum as well as testing from pre-K through 12th grade. And I do want to say that the references that I did contact had glowing recommendations for him. High energy, a doer, an implementer, and has done so in some very difficult situations. So we're looking at a person who can lead and can implement and move us forward in this space and work with our cabinet and our various other leaders. So looking forward for Dr. Brown to be part of our cabinet and having him influence our academic achievement in the years coming. So congratulations, Dr. Brown. And he would be here tonight, but he's in quarantine right now.
So we look forward to seeing what he can do for us. Okay, it is recommended that the board, we're moving on to our new business. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees conduct a Board of Finance meeting and that the officers of the Board of School Trustees also serve as officers of the Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Finance according to the board's bylaws. It is also recommended that the 2021 investment report and the district's financial condition are reviewed. State law requires that a Board of Finance meeting be conducted in January 6th of each year. Per Fort Wayne Community School Bylaw 0151.1, the Board of Finance officers are the same as the school board. The law requires that they receive and review an annual investment report and the district's investment policy. In addition, per Indiana Code 51378, the superintendent of school corporation must annually submit a written report to the local Board of Finance to allow the Board of Finance to assess the financial condition of the school corporation. Metrics used to assess the financial condition are determined by Indiana Code 2019-74. Following are the metrics reported by the Distressed Unit Appeal Board, the average daily membership, or ADM, fund balances, annual deficit or surplus, fund balances as percent of expenditures, revenue by type, operating referendum revenue as percent of total revenue. DUAB provides a web page interface for interested parties to review and assess the financial conditions of school corporations based upon the previously listed fiscal indicators. And you can access that on the in.gov website. Following pages will provide a written report of Fort Wayne Community Schools financial condition, and Kathy Friend, Chief Financial Officer, will make a presentation. So this will open our meeting.
Thank you, President Duff and Dr. Daniel, board members. I'll give you a brief presentation here on our current financial condition. So as was stated in the board recommendation, there is a requirement by the state that we do this every year in January. And that's all outlined on the board recommendation that you just read. These are the fiscal indicators, as you also just read, and those are the things that I'll go over in the presentation right now. So the first thing is average daily membership, or ADM. And these charts, by the way, are those that are on the state website. So if they look a little maybe smaller than you'd like to see or whatever, these are taken right off the website and put into this document. I did add a box at the bottom to show you numbers so that you could see the actual numbers, since you're only seeing ranges up there on the screen. I'll note that since 12-13, our ADM is down 692 students. But good news is from last year, we're up 158 students. So you can, any additional students, you know, we get about $7,100 per student. So that's a positive that our ADM went up this year. But the ADM isn't the full story, because there was a time when kindergarten wasn't counted in full. So I think this story right here is a little bit misleading. If you look at this document, you think, well, things are pretty steady. But when you look at this chart, and this is one I created that wasn't on the state's website, but if you look at the top blue line, that's what our actual enrollment was, not counting preschool and counting every kindergartner in full. The orange line showed when kindergartens was counted as half. So, so you can see that the line looks steady if you start with the orange line, But if you start with the blue line, you can see that we have had a pretty sharp decline. And since 11-12, and I started with 11-12 because that's the year the voucher program started, our enrollment's gone down about 2,084 students since then. And probably 1,000 or so is related to the vouchers when we look at those numbers. So I think this is a more significant demonstration. But the positive news is that we did go up this year, and hopefully we'll continue. Obviously, we're making efforts to try to increase our enrollment. So we'll see what happens next year. The next chart is fund balance. And I chose to present to you the most significant funds. If you go to the website, it will give you every single fund, and it really becomes like unmanageable to read and to make it a significant conclusion from that. So I included the former general fund, the operations funds, and the education fund. And the funds that are excluded include grants, construction, debt, lunch, and textbook rental, among others. So this chart here shows you what the fund balances for those funds look like over time. And at the end of 2020, keep in mind this is a calendar year document, and they only provided data through calendar year 2020. The cash balance in the education fund was $63 million, and in the operations fund, $21 million. And those balances have gone up. I'm going to show you in the next chart. These are the actual dollars. And I want to point out that we do have a board policy that talks about keeping a fund balance of 8 to 15%. And I'm going to show you what those numbers look like on the next slide. We are higher than that number right now. And then I wanted to point out to you the necessity of having these fund balances. It really is critical, especially when you consider that, we have a lot of large grants going on right now. And there may be a day when these are over with that we want to absorb some of that into the education fund budget. And we do long-range planning to figure out how much can we absorb that and for how long. But having that cash balance will allow that to happen. But we also have to be concerned about enrollment changes. Every 2 years, we have to be concerned about what the next school funding formula will be, or any legislation that will reduce our revenue in the meantime. And interest rates have gone down significantly. And so that is an area, by having the cash balance, it's not as hurtful as what it could be. But since 2019, at that time we were getting about $4 million of interest, and now we're like at about $800,000 worth of interest. So it's a sign. And when you look at that over a 2-year period, if we had been at the same level, we would have had $6 million more in cash. So if everything just went along as we've planned so far, keeping in mind that we just did a 4% pay increase for employees, and we've got another one coming, so that's going to draw down cash balances. We could be within that range by 2025, but I don't think that we have to be nervous that we are going to, cash balance is going to go too low. This chart here shows those percentages that I was telling you. And as you can see, we have increased our percentage of cash to our expenditures. But I wanted you to see in the yellow boxes there, I pointed out what it is statewide. So even though we might look like, we are out of the range of our policy, we're not out of range compared to other districts in the state. In fact, we're a little bit lower than the state average. At some point we might want to consider modifying our policy. It may be that does feel too low to me, honestly. When I look at what is the average in the state. And then I noted at the bottom of the screen, when you look at the counts of districts and who is in that range, 268 districts are above 15%. And only 16 are within the 8 to 15%, and 6 are actually below 8%. So we are in good company where we are right now in these balances. The next chart shows you the annual deficit and surplus of those same funds. And you can see we pretty much are spending the revenue that we're bringing in. The small yellow bar at the bottom shows you any deficit or surplus that we would have. So you can see we've mostly had just small surpluses. Those add up, though, of course, and then you can see the bar, that line that's going through the middle there, that shows you how the fund balance is growing. So each time we don't spend all of the revenue that comes in, that's creating the increase in the fund balance. And this chart, I'm not sure is super helpful, but this is one of the indicators that they provide, and this is revenue. I would say the blue section is really the most critical. Obviously, it's the biggest to us, and that is the state revenue. But proportionately, you know, it's fairly the same compared to how it's been. The orange down at the bottom, that is local tax revenue, property tax dollars that go in the operations fund, and it's going up at a higher rate than what state income does, and that's for sure how our budget's been working. And then there's just some quirky stuff in there, like I pointed out that pink section it deals with insurance, our insurance fund, and the state made a change, so it's not really that anything went away, it's just a change the way it was handled.
Hey, Kathy, I know the state is talking about doing away with the business property tax. Isn't that correct?
Well, there's some things, yes, that is one of the things they're looking at, reducing the property tax. In my conversations with Justin, they're also looking at making that happen through, there's a couple of different ways this could happen, like a credit through the state providing a tax credit instead of it hitting actual property tax bills. So that is definitely one we need to keep an eye on, because yeah, that could definitely affect our bottom line here.
Is that, in your chart, is that business property tax, is that part of state revenue, or
no,
is that
it would be
other local?
No, it'd be part of other local right now. And that would be net of circuit breaker too, that line you're seeing there. These are the actual dollars, so, and I thought this might be helpful to see the percentages because that other chart is kind of awkward. So 59% of our revenue is state revenue, and about 15% of it is federal and 22% local. And I kept the debt revenue out separately. Those are the debt proceeds that we get to do our projects. So to me, it doesn't make sense to include that in there when we're discussing percentages.
So, Kathy, if I go back a couple slides, our revenue's been fairly constant, it looks like, from 2013. It's based on the number of students times a factor, and so in the one chart with the bar graph right above this, 2 slides, I think, in advance, it's been rather constant, looks like. But then that chart, I'm sorry.
Where do you want me to go? This
That
way?
chart there, go up one more. I'm sorry, go back left.
Here?
That one, yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like our revenue, the green line.
Well, keep in mind, this chart, I'm only showing you the education fund and the operations funds in general. I'm not including grants or anything else in that equation.
Right, so education fund is coming from the state.
Yes.
Right, operations fund's coming local.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been pretty constant,
Mm-hmm.
looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But then go down to the next bar chart or whatever, not that 2 slides, yeah, that one. The bottom orange one, it seems like it's creeping up. Is that an accurate
Yes,
statement?
yes, it is.
While the blue is fairly constant still, right? So the bottom line is, and then you go on to the next chart of.
Well, I think really, if you go by this, look at the green, well, this is just showing you revenues.
Right.
Let's go back here. Maybe I'm not going to be able to show you that. Sorry. I might need to do something else for you to get you real numbers, because revenue has definitely gone up since 2013. Our per pupil amount has gone up every year, not at the same rate as what local tax revenue has gone up, but it has definitely gone up.
But
That's
right
why-
there, says what I was trying to get to is 60% of our revenue comes from the state. However, it's not enough to support us, quite frankly, to operate. And so we're having to go to the local citizenry to say, hey, you need to pay more. That's why our bottom orange line and the one graph is going up. Now, it's not going up huge.
Yeah.
But that's the cause of the referendum. That's the cause of some of these other things. Is that an accurate
No,
statement?
no, that's not right. Well, the
Well,
local.
the bottom line, I guess I'm trying to get is, we're not getting the funding we need from the state, it seems to me. And if they go with this further tax cut, what I've read is that, business property, personal property tax is gonna go down, but ultimately over a 5-year period, what I understood is that the taxes, individuals have to make up that gap.
Right. No, it could, yeah, you're right. It's not a good thing anytime they mess with the property tax.
Right.
It could impact us. And the way our operations runs is by transferring dollars from the education fund to the operations fund. So it could be that we would have to transfer more than what we typically do, and then that creates a gap for us in the education fund. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
So this chart here just shows you over time that those same different categories, or excuse me, in the federal funds. I thought you might be interested in the federal funds section by itself because it's over $50 million. And so this chart just shows you the makeup of the significant portions of federal revenue. And you can see in 2020, some of those went down significantly because of COVID. We were not spending at the rate we were spending before. It's not that our opportunity for revenue went down, it's that we weren't spending it, so we couldn't seek reimbursement for those. So, and particularly like the lunch program, we
So
did
is all
not.
the federal funds a reimbursement program?
Yes,
Every federal fund that comes
Yeah.
through is, where the state funds, you have X number of kids, here you go.
well, right, yeah. It's the same thing with the local property tax too. We're
Okay.
just given that as well. But these are grants, so you have to be reimbursed for the grants.
Okay.
So that's it.
And the peer grant's gone away, that's noted on here, right?
Right, right. There was still revenue in 20, that's why, and since that chart went through 20.
I guess while you're up here, do you mind commenting on what the proposed tax cuts how they may impact us?
Well-
I know it's not finalized and all that stuff. A lot
Yeah.
of discussion, but from what you
It-
understand as of today,
I don't know in FWCS individually what that impact would be. I mean, I was looking at numbers today, when you look at how much revenue that the state provided in the last school funding formula, say $100 million. If they cut property taxes to that degree or have an offset in revenue from a tax credit that citizens could get, that could definitely have an impact on either the school funding formula or, like I said, our requirement to transfer into operations in order to keep the district going. So, but I don't have specific figures. In the past, when they've done something like this, they've done a run to show us what every unit would experience, so we don't have that data yet. But I was reading the fiscal note today just to see what the total dollars were going to be. And like you said, it's not going to be immediate. It's going to happen over time. But whatever it happens, it's going to be an issue. It could be an issue for school districts. And so I'll keep you informed if that's data I'm trying to get a hold of to see, because the last time when this was entertained, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago or so, it was, I think our cut would have been like $7 million if the personal property tax had gone away. So that would be a significant problem if it went away. I mean, obviously, we're in a position to weather that to a degree, but then you can't give a pay increase again for a long time, or other implications. You can't carry over those positions that were in grants and continue to have those positions. There's all kinds of implications if that would happen, but I don't know if this is to the same degree as what that legislation created, but $7 million that's a pretty big chunk of money. So, and I'm sure all units of government have the same concern we have, so we're not alone in worrying about this.
Thank you. Any other questions for Kathy? Okay. Well, thank you,
Okay.
Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
This ends our Board of Finance meeting. So we will move on to B, short and long-term disability and life renewal. Maria?
It is recommended that the board approve Cigna New York Life's proposed renewal offer, which would extend the rates currently in force on on the short-term disability and increase the long-term disability plans through January 31st of 2024. It is also recommended that the board approve a one-year rate extension with Symetra Life Insurance Company for life insurance renewal. You'll see here, Cigna's current in-force rates became effective February 1st of 2017. The short-term disability rate remains 0.178 per $10 of weekly benefit for the plan, and long-term disability rates are increasing from 0.0265 to 0.275 per $100 of covered payroll, covering eligible teachers, administrators, and supervisory employees. Long-term disability rates are increasing from 0.090 to 0.100 per $100 of covered payroll, covering eligible classified staff. This agreement may be extended beyond January 31st of 2024, subject to the agreement of the vendor, provided there are no additional price increase adjustments or changes to the terms of the contract. Symetra Life Insurance Company guaranteed life insurance rates for 3 years in 2019. Based on experience ratings, Symetra is offering a one-year rate extension of 0.083 per $1,000 of covered payroll through January 31st of 2023. And questions will be addressed by Charles Kamick, Chief Operations Officer.
Thank you, Maria. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Charles?
This is the current vendor in place, Charles?
Yes, we did not, we're not having any changes in these programs.
Did we put out any kind of renewal or RFPs or anything, or just they came in with a good deal?
We do RFPs. And they were, in this case, they had the best numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. No other questions? Roll call vote then. Julie? Aye. Roll call vote.
You said,
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
oh, aye.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
Aye from me. Okay, and we'll move on to asbestos abatement for Esser floor replacement projects. Jennifer?
It is recommended that the board approve the following construction contract for the asbestos abatement for the Esser flooring replacement projects. Total Environment Services, Inc., base bid of $880,000, total contract $880,000. This project consists of partial asbestos abatement of the flooring at 19 Fort Wayne Community School buildings. Bona Vita Architecture designed the project. The project will be funded from the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant, or Esser. Questions will be addressed to the Director of Facilities, Darren Hess.
Thank you, Jennifer. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
Will we approve?
Second.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Darren?
Darren, how many schools overall do we have with asbestos flooring, to your knowledge, do you know?
This covers the remaining schools except for one,
What's that one school?
South Wayne. We're going to be adding them here soon.
Do we have any other asbestos, to our knowledge, in any other buildings then after this, or?
Yeah, we have a 3-year plan that we submit to IDEM that has all those areas shown, and every 6 months we inspect those to see if they're still in place and not damaged.
So what kind of flooring is going to replace this?
Primarily will be hard surface. That's part of the requirements of Esser, so it's easier to clean, and also removing any environmental hazard, i.e. the asbestos. So it would be VCT, vinyl composition tile.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Darren. Roll call vote. Julie?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
An aye from me. And change orders 2016 school building basic renewal restoration and safety project and the 2019 general obligation bond projects. Raleigh?
It is recommended that the board approve the following change orders. So there are 3 different projects on this: the renovation of Shawnee Middle School, renovation of Christ Elementary, and facilities building accessibility improvements. All of those were costs that were deducted for a total of $312,237.37, which is a percent change of 1.91. Reasonable allowances and contingencies are included in base bids for most projects because of conditions or fees not specifically known at the time bids are taken. The use of these allowances and contingencies are authorized by the administration only after review by the facilities department's administrators and relevant architectural and engineering firms' personnel. To avoid major delays in construction projects, change order decisions are generally required and made prior to an official board meeting. In the event a major change in project scope is needed, a recommendation is made to the board for approval prior to proceeding with the project. Questions will be addressed by Darren Hess.
Thank you, Raleigh. There's a motion on the floor for approval.
I move we approve, but no 312,000, not 312 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a big
We
deal.
like that.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions for Darren?
Just to be clear, Darren, this is a reduction to the benefit of the district, saving of money.
That is correct. We'll put this into other projects here in the future.
What was the big change difference in the facilities building, as that was the biggest percentage?
We were unable to construct some ADA restrooms for the training room, and that's tied up right now in a situation with city ordinance. It's in a floodplain, and it's a non-substantial improvement. We were unsuccessful in 3 variances. We went for that, but we're working with them, trying to work with FEMA and DNR to allow a % increase of improvements of a building per every 3 years or something like that.
So that savings may come back around and cost us, and we have to do it again?
It will definitely cost us because we lost, we had to buy all the material ahead of time, so we're still holding on the material, but eventually we'll have to pay for the labor again.
Right.
Any other questions for Darren? Okay, thank you, Darren. All right, roll call vote. Julie?
Aye.
Jen? Aye. Maria? Aye. Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
Aye from me. Okay, Julie, you have E, contract amendment for construction manager as constructor for the renovation of Wayne High School.
It's recommended that the board approve the 3rd contract amendment with Hagerman, Inc. as part of the construction manager as constructor contract for the renovation of Wayne High School, previously approved on March 22nd, 2021. This represents the 3rd amendment of 5. And so this is for the mechanical equipment package for an amendment amount of $600,922 on a contract of $3,764,222. The renovation project at Wayne High School consists of architectural, mechanical, plumbing, and electrical renovations. The mechanical equipment package includes the procurement of major mechanical equipment to be installed as part of the overall renovation. The contract procurement method for this project is the construction manager as constructor for publicly funded projects as allowable per Indiana code. This package was bid separately from the overall construction bids for Wayne High School to allow for adequate time to order and receive the materials for installation. Additional recommendations for the remaining construction work items will be presented at a later date, along with the establishment of a final overall guaranteed maximum price for the project. This package will be funded from the Elementary and Secondary Emergency Education Relief Funds, or Esser 3. And questions will again be addressed by Director of Facilities Darren Hess.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
So motion. Second.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Darren?
Is there any note in here that we will have an upcoming establishment of final overall guaranteed maximum price for the Wayne project? Because this is one of our bigger projects. How are we looking financially compared to what we thought to what today's market is dictating?
Yeah, it depends. Some bids are coming back well and some are not. The project is on the street currently and the bids are due mid-March. So we'll know here in a little while, but we're hoping that we're not too far over budget on it.
Hey, Darren, when the voters approved the referendum in 2020, Esser, of course, did not exist. So this is a benefit to us, I assume, that part of this, like the mechanical package, can be paid through Esser funds?
Yes, this is a blessing, honestly, that is going to help take the hit of pricing increases so that we still can accomplish all the scope that we want to do. So definitely a blessing to receive this grant.
So nationally,
Good news.
Sorry, go ahead.
So you said good news.
Okay, nationally, I saw that inflation has been indicated about 7%, but I recently saw a post of a local front and best restaurant owner about how their costs have gone up, probably on average 25-30% in the restaurant business. What would you say in the construction world you're seeing roughly in percentage-wise?
Yeah, I would say probably in that 20 to 25%. It just depends on the trade. Later on, we'll see roofing come up, and roofing has been hit very hard with the material shortages and just trying to get labor, and so it depends on the trade.
Darren, I know that we've updated a lot of our ventilation per COVID and, returns and all that stuff. Is this mechanical package that we're getting, is that going to, be of the same quality that we're installing or updating in our buildings now?
Yes, it'll be energy efficient, but it'll also have a lot higher turnover rate of the fresh air coming in.
Good.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Darren. And roll call vote, Julie?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
And aye from me. We'll move on to our Esther 2022 window replacements at Miami Middle School.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
might I suggest that we, if there's no objection, take the next three recommendations under one vote. They're all related to Esser grants regarding windows and flooring.
Okay, roll them into one. So we have the
If there's no objection.
I think not. Do I need to?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So we have the 2022 window replacements at Miami Middle School. Base bid $568,000 from Schenkel Construction. We have the Esser 2022 window replacements at various locations from Hamilton Hunter Builders for $515,906. And we have the Esser floor replacement project from Strom Building Solutions for $1,332,200. And all of these come from our Esser Funds Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant. So, and if we have questions, Darren will answer our questions. Is there a motion on the floor to approve these three items?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Noah. Okay, and do we have any questions for Darren? Okay, seeing there are none, we'll do our roll call vote. And Julie?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
And aye for me. So that moves us on
Sorry,
to,
real quick, Darren, I did have a question. The one for Miami, that was another referendum school focus? Is that, again, the blessing of Esser dollars to help offset that?
That is correct. They're all punched openings so we can do them ahead of time.
Great, thanks.
thank you, Darren. Okay, that moves us then to I, our last item. Raleigh?
It is recommended that the board approve the following construction contract for roofing at various locations. Fort Wayne Roofing and Sheet Metal. R1 base bid for Northrop High School is $393,300. R2 base bid, Shambaugh and St. Joe Central Elementary Schools, $496,600 for a total contract of $889,900. Semtech Corporation, R3 base bid for Maplewood Elementary School is $261,000 for a total contract bid of $261,000. Related information, all replacements have been identified in our roof replacement plan, which provides for the replacement of all roof segments over a 25-year period. Martin Riley Architects and Engineers designed the projects. This recommendation is within the program budget and is funded from a combination of the Operations Fund and the 2020 School Basic Renewal Restoration and Safety Project funds or bond. Projects funded from the Operations Fund are identified in the capital projects plan, and Darren will answer any questions. And then there's another part. We have a project for 2020 roof R1 project at Northrop High School. Let's see. Contractor is Centimark Corporation. The base bid of $423,500, and that's the recommendation. Oh, there's more. Let me see.
It's all the things you just read.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're fine. You know,
That's good.
we'll just see if there's a motion on the floor for approval.
I move approval.
Thank you. Second, thank you. And do we have any questions for Darren? Okay, seeing there are none, we'll do a roll call vote. Julie?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Rowley?
Aye.
Noah?
Aye.
Aye from me. Okay, so that ends our business portion. And now we have Jack Bird and Kevin Grubel, who will be doing a presentation for us on the technology at Portland Community Schools. Good evening, Jack.
Good evening. President Duff, esteemed board members, Dr. Daniel, members of the audience both here and afar. It is my privilege and honor to present to you an overview of the FWCS Technology Department. When it comes to K-12 technology departments, I believe we are unique. In most districts, I see a fragmented and disjointed approach to technology. Data analysis, classroom integration, and technology operations are separated, and they have become siloed fiefdoms. This usually results in areas that are disconnected from each other and disconnected from the district's mission and vision, thus resulting in an ineffective environment. At FWCS, we take a holistic approach. Our mission and vision are rooted in the districts. Our why has our students at heart, and it permeates our work. From the application programs we create, to the devices we support, to the data we analyze, to the integration strategies we create, all are done for the benefit of our students. We know we cannot be an island unto ourselves. We must partner with all the areas of the district: professional learning, curriculum and assessments, diverse learning, Office of School Leadership, operations and business. Our job is not to tell you how to do your job, but how to make it better. So we have organized our department in a manner that facilitates our ability to provide service. Our manager of research and evaluation is responsible for data analysis. The networks and communication area is responsible for all data and phone communications, audio-visual systems, and central mailroom operations. Our networks and communication area is responsible for all data and phone communications, audio-visual systems, and, I'm on the wrong one. Let me back up. Our network support services, that's these folks, is responsible for end-user support, including help desk and on-site network technicians. Our systems development is responsible for custom packages and application software. And finally, our district technology coordinators and LTV staff are responsible for technology integration into the classrooms. I've said enough, though. I now want you to meet a few of the people that make all this happen.
Hi, I'm Shannon Quigley. I am a District Technology Coordinator.
My name is Kenneth Kamek. I am Supervisor of Structural Wiring and AV.
Hi, my name is Shirley Strope. I work in technology as a project leader.
Sam Wilmer, and my job title is the Manager of Research and Evaluation.
My name is Diana Fulton, and I am the Supervisor of Network Support Services here at FWCS.
Well, my name is Rick Herber, and I am a District Technology Coordinator, and my main primary focus is STEM and STEAM and the support of that within our schools.
Randy Wirth, Supervisor of Communications and Advanced Systems.
I am a District Technology Coordinator, so I am one of 8 in this position, and I work primarily with elementary schools. So we all cover a different group of schools, and our job is to go out and meet with the principal, the coach, the teachers, and talk about ways that they can integrate technology in meaningful ways into their curriculum, into the ways that they're working with students.
What we do is manage all audio-video devices as well as network drops. We manage and hang monitors, TVs, touchscreens throughout the district. Basically anything that has to do with low voltage, we take care of.
I have been in the department 25 years, and over the years I started out with student management, and I also started out with supporting the HR payroll department.
Well, me and my team, which is about 4 to 5, depending upon who's decided to stay, leave, or get promoted. I'll work primarily with the infrastructure on the network, the stuff that makes the bits go back and forth. If you need to get to the internet, it's going to go on something we're responsible for.
I am the supervisor of 31 technicians, 4 that are help desk technicians, and then 28 network technicians that are basically out in the field. They're the face of the technology department. They're the fix repair men and women.
Within the technology department, I do all things related to data. This includes creating different reports, so our teacher data briefcase, which provides a one-stop shop for teacher data, to different ad hoc reports, so I get a request for attendance during a specific school year.
The best part about my job is that I get to work with so many different groups of teachers and students, and getting to see things that I'm passionate about, teachers are passionate about, students are passionate about, come together and create more meaningful learning experiences for students.
Just working with the people, to be honest with you. I've commented several times that this group is like no other, that when we do things throughout the district, we partner very well, and it's a fun environment to work on. It's great just to see what the end effect is in terms of what we do for the district and how we provide them support on a daily basis.
Seeing the kids light up when they get the concept. I was out helping a elementary school today, and I was teaching them the concepts of 3D printing and utilizing the software needed to model a 3D. And as the kids were going through it, they were doing different lessons and different parts of it. They were highly engaged, and they were very focused, and they were loving it. They actually really enjoyed it.
It is never the same day twice. I can come in with a vision and a hope and a goal, and it can be totally shot down. But it's all about all the kids, and supporting those students.
Supporting our buildings so they can make better decisions with their data, improve their student achievement. Really, when I can make our teachers, school staff, I can make their lives easier.
As district technology coordinators, our main goal is to really help with best practices in instructional technology. So we work really closely with the curriculum and professional learning departments to make sure that the goals that we're setting for teachers and students align with the district's vision for how we can achieve those goals in the classroom. So I find that our role as coordinators is really essential, especially since technology is ever present and can really be a catalyst for student learning. But we want to make sure we're doing that all within the same format with the same goals in mind. So I feel like our role as coordinators really helps support the district's visions around literacy, numeracy, and SEL, and really pushing those forward into the classroom through technology.
We have a team of 5 people, including myself, that work throughout the district on a daily basis. And because the district is so dependent on technology these days, they can't afford not to have their systems, functions, TVs, monitors, projectors working. So we provide support for that area of technology and make sure that all those things are functional and working.
Our main focus with STEM and STEAM is to help students grow with critical thinking skills, and STEM and STEAM and those initiatives and the robots and the coding, that all brings computational critical thinking skills to the table, teaches creativity.
I always tell people that what our job is to be invisible. We don't want a student or a teacher to worry about the network. We want it to fundamentally work every day when they show up and pop the lid open on their laptop or swipe up on their iPad to get to a site they need to get to or to perform some activity. That needs to just happen.
So the job of my team is to make sure that students have the devices that they need to integrate technology and utilize it at the start of school. So you're talking about 30,000 devices that we have to prep, clean, get ready, and disperse in time for first day of school. In addition to, we have staff devices that we also have to prepare, and we have to make sure technology is working inside of each one of those classrooms.
I want to provide teachers with data that then can be turned into information so they can improve student achievement.
So I started in the district as an elementary school teacher, and I love teaching and working with students, and one of the best parts of my job as a teacher were finding ways to connect with students and increase engagement and getting that real love of learning.
I'm here because I love working with people. I love seeing the end result with students, seeing them go from empty, sort of, when they first start here at Fort Wayne Community Schools, and see them go out the door as they graduate, full of knowledge, full of experience, ready to go out and conquer the world.
Extremely rewarding when you can go out to a classroom or help support an agenda or an initiative or a project for our students, and when they get it and a smile comes across their face and the light bulb lights up over their head, that's just something that you can't get anywhere else.
When I first started at FWCS, I started at a school. I was a secretary. I loved the kids.
What makes me happy and makes my why statement is I love what I do. Whether it's helping students, whether it's helping families, it's building our future leaders in our community. And I can't do it by myself, but I think it's really cool that I have just a small part playing in that development of our students.
One thing that I think makes our department so unique is that we have a true team mentality, and we work from people who are naturally educators to people who are naturally on the technology side, have kind of bridged gaps in our knowledge to support each other and really help work towards a vision of technology in the classroom that's going to change instruction or support instruction and change the data for our district in positive ways.
We touch so many other departments on what we do on a daily basis, and we really have to come together as a team to accomplish some of the things that we need to do here.
We function great as a team. We are not a silo-based organization, if you will. We rely on each other to get our jobs done.
I think the level of trust that our district has in our department is tremendous. We've had some really big tasks given to us over the past few years since I've been here, and the entire district has gotten behind us. I think we work super well together. No one has an ego. Everyone's willing to work together, listen to ideas, and that's what makes us great.
I went to Wayne High School, and I thought it was important to come back and give back what was poured into me when I was coming through. I had some very good mentors throughout time that I was at Fort Wayne Community Schools.
Cooperation and synergy between the different areas, because we've got some pretty wide ranges of what people do on a day-to-day basis. And the ability for those of us on two ends of a spectrum to be able to communicate, whether it's through an intermediary or directly, is incredibly beneficial. And I think really, really in the long run has helped this department become as strong and I think as successful as it is.
Well, hello and good evening. I'm Kevin Greibel. I am the manager of technology. As you've just seen, FWCS Technology is a full-service and support-centered department. The people that make up technology are knowledgeable and passionate about what they do. They have to be. As you look at this slide, you can see the scale of responsibility. A couple of interesting facts that are not on the slide is that FWCS is the 56th largest employer in Indiana. But if you add our students to the employee count, since they have devices, FWCS becomes the 5th largest, just behind Eli Lilly of Indianapolis. With a 1,600 device to technician ratio, our department supports over 40,000 staff and student devices. Our department collects over 5.5 million attendance and over 1 million grade card records each school year. We have received over 17,000 online registration applications through our My FWCS custom portal, and making it one of the largest, if not the largest, K-12 computer networks in the state, with a reliability that rivals large corporate networks. Being in the middle of our multi-factor authentication project, we continue to tighten our cybersecurity presence, providing a safe and secure computing environment for everybody. Our district technology coordinators, in cooperation with the curriculum and professional learning departments, develop professional learning that ensures the safe and responsible use of technology within our classroom, as well as create strategies and initiatives that leverage digital in our classroom instruction. Our goal is to help teachers feel comfortable with technology in order to create learners who are familiar with technology as they continue beyond their schooling here at FWCS. This partnership has also resulted in the creation of the system of instruction, which is not something new, but a systemization of lesson creation process and a common place to find resources. It is in its infancy, but is expanding to include social emotional components and PL resources. We do this all by utilizing CSF, CPP, Esser, STAA, and FCC E-rate funds. With these funds, we are able to support, replace, and maintain our network and computing devices, which allows us to provide all students with equitable access to technology, while leveraging strong partnerships with Comcast, Zayo, Securely, Microsoft, Google, Cisco, PowerSchool, and many others. We are able to provide FWCS one of the best K-12 computer networks in the state. As shown by our staff in the video and my brief overview, our technology department is a full-service IT shop that is dedicated to meeting our stakeholders where they are, striving to assist in educating our students, and committed to supporting those who teach and instruct our students. As I close, I would like to thank the staff who took time to put this video together, and Jack and I would like to thank you for your time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
How many people in the department in total then?
I believe that number is 60, 70 plus.
And I saw you have 50 customized applications specific for FWCS use.
So that's part of our SNAP portal, where we've written custom applications to be tailored to the needs of different departments in the district.
Can you give me an example of something?
So I'd like to lean on Jack a little bit on this knowledge.
Sure.
Yeah, so for example, contact tracing that the nurses use. We wrote the program that allows them to enter the person that tested positive and then the contacts around them, and that in turn gets reported to the health department.
Now, you're the technology director, and we are one-to-one. Every student has a computer, right?
Correct.
And I'm not saying you're in charge of the content, but every student and therefore every parent could access what our students are learning each and every day via Schoology?
Schoology, yes.
Schoology, thanks. So a lot's been made about transparency in the state and in the media, and kind of a hot button topic. Parents, kids even, can go on their Schoology and see kind of the work that's required of them, the materials that are out there for them to help use on a specific project or a homework assignment.
Yes.
And all that's available right there.
Yes.
And all you need is a kid or parent login to see what my student's learning or what my students getting taught or getting, going over as far as specific
Correct.
assignments or projects. Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
So we did go one-to-one, like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm sure that was a challenge for you. Do you think that's your biggest challenge? What's been your biggest challenge in the last 2 years or year and a half?
The last 2 years, it was that.
It
was because we decided to go virtual and the blended about 2 weeks before school started. And so that meant we had to get the computers out before school started so the kids could start virtually. So we had to hustle to get all the devices ready and the MiFis ready and things like this. We worked quite a bit.
And you did a great job of
Well,
that,
thank you.
too.
You mentioned MiFis. How many of our students in our district currently have MiFis?
I think we have about 5,000. We have 7,500 devices, of which currently are assigned is significantly less than that. With the partnerships of Frontier and the Comcast, and they reduced at-home internet access, that has taken the burden off of us. But we still do have some assigned out to students.
So about 1/5 of our student population needs access to some sort of connection. They don't have it at home, basically, I guess.
Correct.
Jack, how long have you been technology director, Fort Wayne Community? You're the only one I remember. but-
I would like to take the fifth. No.
Okay, that's fine.
This is
Did
my
you
30
take over from someone?
Yes, this is my 38th year here.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm not sure
I think Steve
Remember
Corona
anything
was
else.
just getting on the school board.
I'm going to take credit for hiring Jack.
Is that in the Abacus days?
We had punch cards, if you know what those are, when I came here.
Yeah.
I still have a box of them downstairs.
Well, you've done an excellent job, and you've never shied away from a challenge. That's for certain.
Thank
And
you.
like you mentioned, there certainly have been them over the last couple of years, but I'm sure there's, I remember you talking about the expansion of the help desk with the onset of the pandemic.
Yes.
And that had to be, a huge challenge as well. Once
Our help desk
30,000
is
kids.
incredible.
Yeah.
They take all kinds of calls. We even had a person call us that wrecked their car, wanted to know, how can we help? And by gosh, we helped them.
What do you see, okay, that's been our biggest challenge in the last 2 years. What's a foreseeable challenge that you have now or coming up?
I think the challenge that we're facing right now is the systematization of what we're doing, is to make that more unified and cohesive. And, we really have been working on that here the past 6 months. And that, that really gives a better use of the products that you're buying, so the software that you're buying, and, the devices so that they're used not just for distractions or maybe things that they shouldn't be used for, but, our goal is to get those devices to be more engaging, leveraging that digital, a part of deep learning. That's where we really want to focus.
Based on your track record, I have all the confidence in the world.
Well, thank you,
that
Jennifer.
can do that, Jack.
Appreciate that.
What about, I'm curious about cybersecurity. Is that something we outsource? Do we have our own cybersecurity staff? I think that's becoming a bigger problem.
Yeah, so with the change of our communications department, we did bring in a gentleman who is specializing in cybersecurity. And we're working with the other departments in the district to fall into industry standards and tighten up our fences, if you want to call it that, to protect our environments.
Well, your department did a wonderful job in presenting their what they do in the video and their descriptions and everything, so I really appreciate seeing that. Entertaining for technology department.
We did talk about this earlier, Dr. Daniel, in our work session, and like you mentioned, I think this is a case where leadership matters. And I really thank Jack.
Great leadership.
That, and I think it showed in the video. I think that you're very well respected, and I think that showed when your staff was talking about the teamwork and the camaraderie of the work environment. So, congratulations.
Thank you again. And thanks for those comments, Julie. We are ready to end our meeting. Is there a motion on the floor for adjourning? Oh,
comments?
Whoops, never mind. Let's do board comments first.
So, we've had a few people come speak to us about our mask mandate, and we've been accused of not caring about children and being child abusers, and that's not just us. That has been echoed throughout our community and other school districts in the area and throughout the state. So I saw the other day, and I found this really interesting, that there was a study out of the University of Michigan that studied, because in Michigan, same as Indiana, schools had the option of either having a mask mandate or not. So they did a study last fall comparing schools with mask mandates versus schools that did not have mask mandates. And for schools with a mask mandate, their infection rate for COVID was, I think, 45 cases per 100 students. For no mask mandate, that jumped up to an infection rate of 73 cases per 100 students. So that's a 62% increase for student population and staff not wearing masks. So I think that's just hard evidence that, we said all along that our goal was not only to protect the health and safety of students and staff, but to keep kids in school. And so I think that that's just hard evidence that we made, and Dr. Daniel and his staff made the right decision.
Thank you, Julie.
Jennifer?
Today, I had the opportunity, along with Raleigh, to attend JA BizTown with our students at Harris Elementary and Abbott Elementary. And JA is just a fabulous facility for those kids to go out and learn some real world experience, learning about money and balancing their checkbooks and working in a business. Raleigh was, her kids were keeping me busy, or keeping us entertained with the, they were DJs, and she was at the media, WOWO, and 21, right? In the same thing. And I was tasked for the restaurant business, which we were short-staffed, just like the rest of the world. And so our children in there, there were some incredible managers there today, because one child just, kind of took charge of, we were really short a food manager, we were short serving, our pop machine had a bunch of carbonation, so it took a lot longer to fill. They learned a lot of really real world experience lessons on how to have customer service and the soft skills that they need, because these kids were hungry for popcorn and something to drink. And like I said, I was so impressed with several of those kids who just stepped up and became like the manager in positions that weren't spelled out for them, because JA does a fabulous job of step by step of the children what they need to do. But what I did learn from JA is that it was a great experience for me. I've been there a couple other times with my children, and not knowing any of the kids was another experience for me today too. But I do encourage anybody who has an opportunity to give some of their time. They have that for the elementary schools. They also have that finance park for the high schools. It was a day, a volunteer day for just a morning, and basically I was there from 8:30 to 1, and I do encourage anybody who's out there who would like to spend some time to just, if you'd like to do it, you just contact JA and they'll find you a spot. I know that there's some of our schools that are really looking for some volunteers, so that the parent, not as much parent participation, or they're just working parents who can't get there. So if anybody has a day, I encourage you to contact JA and help those kids out.
Awesome. Great. Is somebody doing a bill update? I don't want to steal anyone's.
Go right ahead. I don't plan on it.
Okay.
We got about an hour. We'll give you an hour, Maria.
I think the bill that is probably of most concern to myself is House Bill 1134, which is a bill, to put it nicely, I'll just call it a censorship bill. I think the things that really stand out for me is limiting materials in libraries, and not only school libraries, but public libraries, and then on colleges and university campuses, material that's harmful to minors. And as I had a parent write to me in an email, when he told me that it wasn't my job to care about his student, that was his job. I think it's my responsibility as a parent to deem what's harmful to my minor. I don't need state legislators telling me what's harmful for my minor. I want to make those decisions on my own. And I just think that from a university standpoint, I wrote papers about tons of different things. I couldn't imagine going to a library and having limited resources to do research. And so I just think that censorship of knowledge is really dangerous when you start to think about it. So that is of huge concern to me. And then like we mentioned in Jack's presentation, our parents have access to all of our curriculum, materials, the books that we're using. And so to duplicate all of that per state bill is just a duplication of work. It's going to take time and effort on all of our teachers' parts. We already have a resource for all of that information. And so I just think that the bill is detrimental all around, but those are the two main highlights that I have. There's also Senate Bill 17, which also addresses material harmful to minors as well. So if we do get House Bill 1134 to die, we still need to keep an eye on Senate Bill 17. And so session is moving quickly. There's only, I think that they're probably hoping to only have about 4 more weeks of session. So just want to encourage everyone to stay up to date and current on how bills are moving through the state and Senate.
Thank you, Maria. Appreciate the update.
No problem.
Raleigh?
No comment tonight.
Noah?
I'll dovetail and talk about a different one than Maria mentioned. Last week on Thursday, the Journal Gazette's Nikki Kelly, who, not trying to do an advertisement, but she does a phenomenal job of communicating and keeping people involved. Highly recommend following her on Twitter if you want to know what's going on. But in the news paper, the actual paper, she reported that, and I'll read parts of this, a House panel voted unanimously Wednesday to require local school boards to allow public comments during meetings, which I'm proud of our board for doing that. It talks about a few isolated districts recently disallowed it because of particularly raucous meetings. And then Representative Tim O'Brien of Evansville was quoted as saying, "This is a transparency bill. Public input is vital and Hoosiers deserve to have their voices heard." However, that same bill was amended to apply only to school boards instead of all local government units. And that the school boards could still limit comments, but not less than 3 minutes per person, which again, I'm proud to say our board already does. So I'll note that Mr. O'Brien went on, it's not quote, but it's a statement apparently he made, that public comment at legislative hearings is important and leads to good public policy, which I do not disagree with in any way. I think that we've, as Julie mentioned, we've had certain comments about how we think and feel, or told to us in public comment that I don't think are accurate. But we've also received other comments through email and phone calls and texts, I'm sure, of differing opinions. And I personally, and will speak on behalf of my fellow ladies up here tonight, is I value the input from our constituents or the public. And I do want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Doesn't mean I'll always agree with you. But we do want to know what people are thinking and feeling. But I find it ironic that they're not going to require by law any other governmental agency to do so. And as Maria mentioned, HB 1134, the Senate bill was Senate Bill 167 that was mirroring that, and that bill has died, thankfully, but did receive a lot of national attention when the sponsor of the bill went on to indicate that Nazism was not to be told that it was bad. You had to present the other side of the story. It went on Stephen Colbert. But what was interesting to me about that one, and particularly in light of Representative O'Brien's statements, was not one person that went up and spoke at the hearing that they had for that bill spoke in favor of it. Not a person who was for it even in part, and definitely not the people who were against it. Not one person we watched, I think, or we didn't watch together, but we were watching live stream, went through that situation and said, yes, you should vote for this bill. So I agree with Representative O'Brien that the public comment is important and could lead to good public policy. The other one that's recently, and Ian or Maria step up, what's the one with our designation of Republican or Democrat?
I don't remember.
1182.
House Bill 1182, thank you, Jennifer. That recently had a hearing, and again, not one person that spoke for this bill was in favor of it. And they had both Republican people, Democrat people, they have board members, they have public members of the community that had nothing to do with school boards. But again, not one person that stood up there and said, this is great legislation, let's do it. So Representative Bryan, I hope you're listening to those comments and statements, and the fact that no one is supporting those, I will hope lead to good public policy. That's all.
Thank you, Noah. Dr. Daniel?
Yes, I want to thank Melissa Reinhart for her article in the paper just recently in regards to complexity financing, and again, her contacting Kathy and getting our information as it pertains to how do we account for the number of students who are being measured, and the fact that we are hearing that opening up, discussion being raised, how can we be more accurate? So that will definitely benefit a district such as ourselves. And again, I want to thank her for expressing that. So excellent op-ed article. So that's all I had for this evening. Thank you.
And I do not have any comments. Oh, Steve, do you have any comments?
I do. First of all, thank you to Jack Bird for plugging me into this evening's meetings. I'm in Washington, D.C., attending 2 national school board meetings, one on equity that was held Saturday, and then Sunday through Tuesday is NSBA's Advocacy Institute, and we're getting good information that I'll share with you, including the availability of additional federal funding. So I want to make sure that we're aware of those. We may be, but I'll gather the information and provide that information to you. I also was named to go back on the NSBA Board of Directors. So we've got a direct pipeline to Washington, D.C., and I'll make good use of it for Fort Wayne Community Schools.
We appreciate your work, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor for adjourning?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, I guess. Julie?
Aye.
Jennifer?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Raleigh?
Aye.
Noah?
Yep.
Aye for me. We are adjourned.